Adab and welcome. I'm Aditya and you're watching The Indian Atheist.
Namaskar, Adab and welcome. I'm Aditya and you're watching The Indian Atheist. Just a quick recap. In the last two episodes, we talked about people who claim to be atheists, but the positions they take on a wide-ranging set of issues are, to say the least, highly inconsistent with the principles that an atheist holds in the highest of esteem. We identified 7 types of such fake atheists, and we said that you're not an atheist if your political allegiance is to the right wing, whatever shape the right may take in your part of the world, or if you choose to remain apolitical, or if you're not a feminist, or if you're in the habit of saying that the country comes first, and by that you mean that you come first, or if you subscribe to some quackery that is by now firmly established to be in the realm of pseudosciences, or if you deny man-made climate change, or if you're not squarely and firmly on the side of the LGBT community in their ongoing battle for basic human dignity. And now, here's 2 more types of atheists who have next to nothing to do with atheism and one potential ally.
You're not an atheist if you endorse state-sponsored atheism.
By state-sponsored atheism, I mean the kind of atheism that's not sourced from within, but enforced from without. There have been times in modern history, for instance in the Stalin-era Russia, when atheism was upheld as the official religion of the state and the elimination of the existing religion was an official state agenda. Meet atheism on steroids. So you like atheism? Good, we like it too. You think everyone should be an atheist? I think so too. You think it's terribly hard to free people from the clutches of religion? Tell me about it. But if you think for a second that we are on board with getting the government involved to outlaw any expression of religious faith by fiat, sorry, my friend, it's gonna be a hard pass on that. We do stand on the left, but not so far left that we are out of the picture. Ridicule of religion is one thing, but persecution of the religious, that's an entirely different animal. Not a big fan. Here's the thing. Atheism, by definition, cannot be mandated in any way, shape, or form. If someone ordered it, it ain't atheism no more. That's why there's no such thing as an atheist by birth. Forget about atheism being the official doctrine of the state. It shouldn't even be prescribed as a directive principle. The state has no business peeping into what people privately believe or not believe. It's just not the government's job. That being said, a person holding a public office can, in principle, advocate for a religion or for atheism, but only in the capacity of a private citizen, on her own time and without using any of the substantial government machinery and influence that may be at her disposal. If you must involve the government in this regard, if you must enforce something, how about you enforce a strict separation of religion and the state? It'll never be watertight, and that's understandable, but do the best you can to make sure that the state doesn't dictate your religion and, God forbid, vice versa. Additionally, we also expect the government to encourage scientific temperament in her citizens, but that's kind of where we draw the line. So as far as an expansionist campaign for atheism is concerned, secular humanism is really what we push for. And that's as far as any serious atheist would go. That's also as far as Dr. Ambedkar went in the Constitution of India. There's a reason for that, not the least of which is that state-sponsored atheism is a self-defeating proposition. Atheism is essentially freedom from the yoke of religion, and you can't prescribe freedom. You can't order a society into freedom. The want for a freedom has to be felt from within. No one can bring someone to feel free if that person doesn't value being free. It's a personal choice. Being free, and so's being bound, and it has to be that way forever. What's freedom if you take away the freedom of choice? If, say, tomorrow the government of my country bans religion, all religions, overnight, just like that, you think that'll make us happy? You can bet your ass we'll be the first ones out to protest on the streets. Push comes to shove, we'll go to war with that government. We do want people to renounce religious faith, but not like that, we don't. They'll only have renounced religion. They won't have embraced reason, because they won't have thunk, because you didn't give them the fucking choice, did you? And so where does that leave us as a nation? A whole bunch of angry, confused, and supposedly free people who don't know what to do with that freedom because they didn't ask for it, because they didn't even know that they wanted it or even needed it. You can't shove atheism down people's throats like you can a religion. They tend to spit it right back out, and I don't blame them. It's a tough pill to swallow. If I were religious, I'd do the same. What happened in the communist Russia and what's perhaps waiting to happen in China should serve as an important lesson for any atheist who seeks the assistance of the state in getting people to convert to atheism. It looks like a good plan, but it always goes south. Don't take that shortcut. It's a dead end. Take the highway. Teach better science at schools. Teach better civics. Encourage free-thinking inquiry. Create awareness. Raise consciousness about the pitfalls of a religion-based morality. Strengthen the secular public institutions. Use the media to question religions, criticize them, ridicule them, take them to courts. There's hundreds of things you can do. But just censoring faith, that's definitely not our style. Religions are already doing a fantastic job of persecuting the religious. We don't need to pile on. Fight the enemy, huh? Don't go and become the enemy.
You're not an atheist if you think your atheism is compatible with some soft religion.
If you're an atheist from India, there's a good chance you've met someone who, after learning that you're an atheist, proceeds to instruct you in the inclusive character of his religion and tells you that he himself is an atheist and that in his religion it's perfectly okay to be an atheist. This one, more than any other fake atheist we've met so far, is a coward, plain and simple. A common argument that's often used to cloak this cowardice is that Eastern mystic faiths like Hinduism and Jainism and Buddhism are not really religions but rather ways of life. And due to that fact, by some weird logic, these soft religions then automatically subsume all other ways of life. There you have it, Mysticism 101. Let's see, is Hinduism a way of life? Sure. Is atheism a way of life? Yeah, okay, why not? I mean, anything can be a way of life. For some people, stealing shit is a way of life. For some, being an asshole is a way of life. Would you therefore equate Hinduism to being an asshole? No, right? Then why the hell do you think Hinduism is the same as atheism? Just because they're both ways of life? Apples and oranges, people. Is atheism compatible with Hinduism? Well, is an apple compatible with an orange? Let me give you a hint. It's a stupid-ass question. If your religion accommodates all ways of life, it's called general, regular fucking life, not religion. Wake up. What is it? The stench of conventional monotheism is just too strong to match, isn't it? So what your solution is to offer a weak-ass, inclusive religion that literally anyone can practice? Even an atheist? Where's your sense of pride? That shit is weak. There's Rotary clubs that are more exclusive than your religion, for God's sakes. But we understand. The inclusivity is just a front. It's all a front, a nice facade. You're not that inclusive on the inside, are you? You know that no one cares to check the microprint. Soft religion investments are subject to loss of reason. Read the holy document carefully before investing. Now, to be fair, it's true that Nastik Darshan or atheist philosophy is mentioned in ancient Indian scriptures. In Hindu philosophy, or whatever past of his philosophy way back when in the Indian subcontinent and in the rest of the world, there are about half a dozen orthodox schools of thought and about as many heterodox schools of thought, and many of these latter, most notably the Charvak Darshan, reject the idea of a supreme, all-knowing, all-powerful being. Except, none of that means that Hinduism as a religion is okay with atheism. Are you kidding me? To say that atheism is compatible with Hinduism is like saying blasphemy is allowed in Christianity just because the Bible mentions blasphemy or blasphemers, or that apostasy is okay in Islam just because the Quran mentions apostates or apostasy. Furthermore, your personal brand of Hinduism may be okay with atheism. But did you ever consider that the vice versa part may be, I don't know, slightly more complicated? Ever heard of this little thing called the caste system? It's only the foundation on which mainstream Hinduism thrived for centuries, and so it does even today. Well, atheism cannot possibly put up with shit like that. What, are we stupid? One must understand that Hindu philosophy is not the same as Hinduism, the religion, as it's practiced today, let alone Hindutva, which is a fairly recently developed militant version of Hinduism. Or consider that canonical Buddhism as it's practiced today has pitifully little to do with the central thesis of the historical Gautam Buddha. And even if Buddhism was exactly the same as what Buddha said, it still wouldn't be able to compete with the rigor of today's scientific secular humanist thought, which is the driving engine for atheism. The brilliance and good intentions, I'll give you that, of one well-meaning man, one Gautam Buddha, who, let's face it, was woefully ill-informed about the natural world, versus the brilliance distilled from the collected works of thousands of philosophers and scientists and lawmakers around the world who came after him and who've had more than 2,000 years of practice to perfect their trade. There's simply no contest there. You can't be a Hindu and an atheist, or a Buddhist and an atheist. Ditto for any other fancy religion, mono, poly, traditional, pagan, satanic, what have you. Doesn't matter how soft your religion is, no can do, okay? Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Why? Because they're two different things. It doesn't make sense. Read the damn definitions. What? Oh, the tenets of your soft religion are so comprehensive that they defy definition? Damn, that's deep. Good for you. The tenets of atheism don't defy definition, though. We do have definitions and and standards. Sorry.
You're maybe not an atheist if you're merely a disbeliever.
I want to end this video on a positive note. So this category is not so much a category of fake atheists as it is a category of atheists in the making. If you're merely convinced that God does not exist, you're just someone who's convinced that God does not exist. That's a good starting point, but that's not atheism. I mean, it is, but not quite. Actually, not even close. Don't kid yourself. But don't beat yourself up either. You may be onto something. Congratulations on your momentous discovery that there's no one up there and no one in here, except, well, you obviously, but it's just the first step towards atheism, and you have a long way to go. Some might say I'm confusing atheism with skepticism. That's because I am, intentionally and for good reasons, but that's another discussion. Meanwhile, you know what, noob? Stick with us. We've been on the road for a while. We know the terrain. We can point you to the resources to help you get there, and once there, stay there. With us, the journey might just become a little bit less lonely and a little less taxing. What's in it for us? Just genuine pleasure, believe it or not. But I won't lie, it'll take time and a lot of work. And fair warning, it can cost you, among other things, something that's in my opinion disproportionately highly valued by the saved, or the otherwise protected. Atheism can cost you the sedate state that they call peace of mind, the kind of peace that comes with not asking too many questions and looking the other way when wicked things happen right under your nose. If you're looking for that kind of peace, you're on the wrong corner of the ring, my friend. Look elsewhere. Namely, look to the other side. Because I can promise you, if you don't lose your sleep over it, if it don't make you climb the walls, if it don't make you lose your goddamn mind, it ain't any atheism that I know of. What can I say? Atheism is just not cheap, okay? It's probably the most expensive thought you ever bought. Sometimes you're going to wish you didn't buy it, but once you do, there's really no turning back. It'll upend your very understanding of what it means to be human. You'll find yourself getting unmade, if that's indeed the right word. Some parts of you will be lost to you forever, but you'll also bring in new parts for the new you. Along the way, you may lose some old friends, but you'll also make new ones. You will know peace, but of a different kind, the kind that truly befits a living, conscious, sentient being. It'll be exciting, but as is true with all change, it can also be frightening at times. In any case, it's not for the faint of spirit. For the most part, though, it's just a whole lot of growing up and sometimes a little bit of fun. But more importantly, as we'll amply demonstrate, atheism is not just a well-founded worldview. It's also a genuinely empathetic one. It's not just a valid way to live, but an honorable one too. On behalf of the Indian atheist, hell, on behalf of all atheists in the observable universe and the one that's beyond, I welcome you to the fold and I wish you the very best of luck for the long journey ahead. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Dhanyavad, Shukriya.